Hi, I'm Vanessa Vicaria, aka The Math Guru, and you're listening to Math Therapy, a podcast that helps guests work through their math traumas one problem at a time. When I was in grade 11, I failed math not once, but twice, because I was told that I just wasn't a math person. Thanks to a math intervention in the form of an amazing teacher, I ended up scoring 99% in grade 12 math, and now I run The Math Guru, my very own math tutoring studio in Toronto. I started Math Therapy to take this conversation global, and I like to think of it as not just a podcast, but a movement. Whether you think you're a math person or not, you're about to find out that math people don't actually exist, but the scars that math class left on many of us definitely do. Oh, and don't worry, no calculators or actual math were involved in the making of this podcast. Oh my God, hi guys, hi, and welcome to the first episode of season 2 of Math Therapy. We made it, we did it, we're here, and we're back with one of my favorite episodes of all time, with one of the funniest, smartest, and most honest people of all time, Tamica. Tamica is basically a dope queen who works in radio in the 6. Like as in Toronto. Is it still cool to say the 6? Probably not. Okay, this episode is so eye-opening, and every time I listen to it, I am amazed at how vulnerable and self-aware Tamica is, and most of all, how open-minded she is in terms of reconsidering her relationship to math. Today, we dig into how being labeled ADHD led to feelings of inadequacy, and through intense math therapy, we discover what's truly possible when we leap out of the boxes we once forced ourselves into. Ready to watch Math Therapy legit transform Tamica's life? Let's do this. Hello, Tamica. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Amazing. Okay, so as you know, we're on Math Therapy.
Yeah.
That is the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you some math therapy.
Okay.
I wanted to honestly just start with you telling me how you feel. Like, do you like math?
I honestly don't like math. Like, I've tried so hard to like math, like growing up, you know? But I'm just afraid of math, I'll be honest. I'm terrified of math. I'm terrified of numbers. I know my basic math, but even like, you know, even those skill testing questions are
like at the end of a contest?
Any contest, I'm like, oh my goodness, you know? So it's one of those things where I'm terrified of numbers in general.
So like, what does that mean to be terrified of numbers? Like like you see a number and you literally get scared?
Well, more so like, not like numbers on its own, like telling time and stuff like that, but more so just like adding, subtracting, checking my bank statements, like just stuff like that. Like,
so like what happens to you?
Anxiety. So like there's this really funny song. I can't remember who sings it. But it's like, there's a song, it's like, I don't want to check my bank account. I'm too scared to check my bank account. Like, and like every time after like a night out or anything, that song pops into my head, and I will like avoid checking my account for like 2 days. You know, it's one of those things. So I just get a lot of anxiety when it comes to math.
Okay.
Yeah.
So has it always been this way for you?
Yeah, it's always been this way, I would say.
So let's think, okay, let's go back to like when you were younger.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember ever liking math?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In elementary school, I remember liking math, like from grade 6 to grade 8.
Okay, that's actually like pretty late. So like up until grade 8, you liked math.
Yeah.
And so then what happened?
And then I went to high school, and so I had a math tutor, you know, in elementary school and stuff. And then I went to high school, and then you had to take like advanced functions and
Okay, but that's like grade 12.
Grade 11, no?
Well, okay, so then in grade 11, you're like choosing between different maths.
Yeah.
Okay.
But from grade 9 and 10, we took, I can't remember, just like math. We had a math.
Just math.
Yeah. But it was different. I don't know. It was like very different. And I found myself falling behind. But I should also mention I do have ADHD. And when I was in high school, I wasn't taking medication at the time because my mom was like, no. So
what specifically did she say though?
She said, I don't want you taking baby crack. So I have a West Indian mother, so she's a nurse too, but she was very like against medications. And
have you ever tried ADHD medication?
Oh yeah, I take it now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I take it as an adult now. Yeah, the first time I took it, I left the doctor's office, got the prescription, and then I took it, and I was waiting for the TTC streetcar, and then I guess it kicked in at some point, and this old lady needed help, and I just like got off and like helped her take her stuff on there, and just was so attentive, and like I remember feeling like, oh my God, like this is great. I'm gonna get so many things done today. Like,
and
you know,
did you?
I did, yeah. Like, and that was when I took Ritalin. I'm on something else called Dexedrine now, which is better. But
And do you take it every day?
every day, yeah.
Okay, so when you're younger, you got diagnosed with ADHD. Your mom's like, no, you're not taking that baby crack. So you just keep doing your thing.
So I just really I just tried my best to focus on things, but it was really hard for me to do things and finish things when I did not care for it or if I wasn't good at it. So, and that was math. Like I remember all my other friends were smart, and so they were all wanting to be in like the higher learning classes. So me wanting to stay with my friends, I also put myself in those classes, but I had a hard time, especially with math, with digesting all of that information. And on top of that, I felt like my teachers weren't as like patient. So it was more so like, if you're not getting it, then we'll talk about it after. But then it's just like, what aren't you getting kind of thing. So, you know, a lot of the time I would just kind of not do my homework or, you know, trust myself or, you know, write the equations in my calculator sleeve, you know, that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tamica, you're really airing your dirty laundry here.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
therapy. I got to tell the truth.
So what ended up happening? You had mentioned that you wanted to be a plastic surgeon. Like,
Yeah. There was a lot of things I wanted to do. I wanted to like be a plastic surgeon, also be CSI, like, you know, just, but plastic surgery was one thing that I was passionate about for a while, because I wanted to help kids who were like burn victims or had external trauma. And that was one way that I thought I could help. But then I realized that you have to go to med school and, you know, chemistry and math were like you had to have really good grades in order to, you know, be accepted to a good school to do that. So I immediately was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to be a doctor.
and how did you feel? Like, did you care? Were you, or?
Yeah, it made me sad, but, you know, I found other ways to help people. So it kind of softened the blow a little bit, but.
Did you believe that like you just couldn't do it? Or like, what was your mind frame around it?
Yeah, I believed I couldn't do it. I was like, I don't have that matter, like part of my brain that would allow me to, you know, do math.
When you would mention that to people, like your parents or teachers or friends, like did anyone try to talk you out of that?
Yeah, like for a long time I took tutoring like through high school as well. Like I had one teacher that really pushed me to try and like, you know, but I just gave up very easily because I just believed like if you weren't born with that gift of, you know, remembering math or if you didn't click with it, then you're just not a math person. Like I just thought that that's what it was. It's like you're either like a nerd or you're an athlete or you're, you know, a drum. Like it was just like I put myself in that box and I was like, okay, I'm definitely not in that box.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm so glad you brought that up because that is like literally the crux of all the work I do and why I have math therapy.
Okay.
And I also failed grade 11 math twice because I was not put in that box and I was told I wasn't a math person. And it's something I'm like very passionate about talking about. So like, you work in radio, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what do you do?
Well, it's more so writing and researching and stuff. So I don't really work with math too much.
Yeah.
Other than like time codes and stuff like that. So if there's like you're producer of a show, there's like time codes where you have to count down and like every show is like meticulously timed out, right? So one of the scary jobs, like I can't see myself as being a show director because being able to like keep the timing and like retyping in the time if the host goes over. So that's something that like really scares me. But at the same time,
just because of the numbers.
Just because of the numbers, yeah. Like when I worked on Q, like sitting in the control room and seeing the director like tell Tom, okay, you have this much time. Okay, we're gonna move this thing around and just retyping in. I was like, wow, how is she doing that? She must know how to do math in her head.
So, and she's probably doing what, like subtraction?
Subtraction and addition.
Do you think you can do subtraction and addition?
I do, but like with that pressure, I feel like, you know?
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you is at this point right now sitting here, and I'm totally not judging you, what's 15 minus? No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. That's not what I was going to ask you at all. What I was going to ask you is, do you right now believe that there's such a thing as a math person?
Yes.
Okay, tell me, you do. What is that? What is a math person?
Somebody who can do math off the top of their head.
So I so fucking love it because everyone always says the term. This is actually, I'm just realizing this now.
Yeah.
Everyone always says off the top of their head. That is literally,
Really?
yes, this is exactly what people say when they say a math person. Someone who can do math off the top of their head.
Yeah.
And I'd like us to just, for a moment, everyone, let's analyze that statement. What the fuck does that mean?
It means, you can just picture the equation and immediately see it and know what the answer is, like off the top of your head. Like you don't even have to count or use your hands. It's just like.
But are you talking about literally being able to do like a mental calculation?
Yeah.
So a math person is someone who can do a mental calculation without even thinking about it.
Yeah, like photographic memory. Like this is how I picture it.
Okay.
Photographic memory, and then just having that, just knowing it, or just maybe knowing the value of those sums, and just yeah.
But I love you explaining this, actually. I've never had anyone really explain it.
No? Okay.
No,
yeah.
Okay, so someone just, knows it, I don't even know what you would ask me, and I would just, be like, oh, I can figure that out, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I have a few questions.
Okay.
Is this math person born like this? Like, when they popped out of the womb?
I see, that's a good question. I feel like yes and no, half and half.
Okay.
Genetically, maybe they are predisposed to be a smarter individual, but I feel like definitely, their environment would take a huge toll in them being able to be a good math person, right? I feel like it's just someone who's more inclined to learning and loving math and numbers.
But wait, you're saying two different things because you're like this person. Well, because you're saying this person. I'm only nitpicking.
Okay, no, it's good. Let's break it down. Let's break it down.
I'm just breaking it down because you said this person is born smarter. Do you mean smarter at math or literally they're just smarter?
Just smarter. I would just say they're smarter.
Oh my God.
At
everything.
At everything, or not even everything. Maybe just more so academically smarter.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. And so math would be one of the things that they'd be just naturally good at.
Okay, so what if I told you that this is not true? No one is just born generally academically smarter genetically.
Well, I just mean maybe you inherit certain traits from your parents that would make it so, you'd be able to digest, information differently. If you had, siblings, maybe one of the siblings would inherit one of the parents' genes where, if one parent was a physicist and the other parent was maybe, an
artist.
An artist. One of the children could inherit the physicist's brain or just the thinking side of things, kind of thing. I'm not too, again, biology, I'm not as good with it, but I just feel like it's something that could be slightly inherited, not maybe directly, who knows? Because I think I was reading on Reddit the other day, there was one of the smartest people in the world is some kid from, it was is it either Philippines or Vietnam or a really small country, and both of their parents are field workers,
right.
have, so.
It seems kind of crazy.
And exactly. It's what is the likelihood of this child being so smart, a prodigy when, their parents aren't,
Okay, so aside from prodigies, which I think there are definitely prodigies, and I feel like it's a pretty good argument. Generally, the role of nature is completely overemphasized. Maybe you're born with a little bit of an inclination towards something here and there, but the role of nature is so much greater. And you see that all the time with do you read any Malcolm Gladwell? Have you ever read The Tipping Point or anything?
No.
Okay, well, basically his whole theory, not even theory, it's proven, is when you look at mastery athletes, when you look at Olympians, when you look at people who have reached that level, the one thing they have in common is just practice hours. It's that they've practiced whatever it is for 10,000 hours.
The 10,000 hours. I've heard of that for sure.
So that complete, if we're just going to be logical, not that I'm trying to argue with you, but but I am in a way just to be because if we say to ourselves, okay, it's genetic, I just can't do it. That is so disempowering.
Right.
It is. That's the most disempowering thing you can say.
Yeah.
As opposed to being okay, whatever. I went through school. A bunch of random shit happened. I didn't do well at math. But actually, if I had done some things differently, or more importantly, if I did some things right now differently, I am perfectly capable of learning math.
Yeah.
As an adult now, Do you think that I could teach you math?
I think you could teach me math. I would be afraid of like the frustration part of it, but I think you could teach it to me. Yes. I could never see myself being like, an advanced function, like.
But if I was like, Tamica, you're
it.
going to move to Fort McMurray. There's nothing to do there.
Yeah.
What you're going to do is you are literally just going to sit for 5 hours a day and learn math. Do you not think that at the end of a year, you'd be pretty fucking good at math?
Oh, 100% I would. 100%.
Great.
Yeah.
So we've kind of established that you're fully capable. You may choose not to, but it's not. There's no such a thing as being a math person or not. Sometimes you just have to put in work.
Absolutely.
And also, for sure, some people have to put in different amounts of work. Maybe I need to do 2 hours of work and you need to do 5, but we can reach the same goal. I also think that's what people often think they're talking about when they say this math person thing is like, because a lot of kids will say, like children, they'll be like, well, yeah, I'm fine at math, but like Bobby next to me put no effort in and got this mark on this test, so he's a math person. And you're sort of like, hey, we don't know what the fuck Bobby's doing at home. Like, who knows? Like we actually really don't know.
Yeah.
So I just challenge you to think of it that way. Like, I don't not that we need to like move mountains here, but I think it is important for everyone to go through their life being like, no, I'm capable of it. I can choose not to do it. But I think it's important for you to admit that, like, yeah, if you sat and did it, you'd probably be fine. Yeah. And if, like, whatever that producer's doing, counting backwards, if for, like, literally a month we just worked on your mental addition and subtraction, you could probably walk in there and do it like a fucking boss.
You're right. You're right. You're basically saying if you flex the muscle more, then you'd, and it's true. Maybe it's like when I was a kid, it was just like if you weren't automatically good at something, if you weren't automatically good at throwing a football or, like, math or remembering history facts, then you just weren't good at it. And
but how nuts is that?
I know, and I think that's just like the attitude I've adopted, and maybe a lot of other people. Like even nowadays, like people are like, if I'm not good at it, like what? Like I'm just not good at it, right? It's no one really thinks, oh, if I try harder at it or just keep doing it, like.
But like that makes sense. That's why
it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense.
Like when people are like, "It's booty season." What's everyone doing? They're literally working on their booties every fucking day. But they are, right? Like it's like you're not born with like being thick as fuck. Like that's not what happens. Like a little baby is not born like that. Anyways, so this belief, do you think this has prevented you from doing things in your life? The belief that you're incapable of doing math.
Yes. Yeah.
Like what?
Again, maybe even just applying for jobs where, I would have to count backwards and stuff like that. Like applying for jobs that, like, because I've kind of put myself in a box since high school. So I've always been kind of afraid to, unless somebody was like, hey, you should do this. A lot of the times I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do it because what if the responsibilities are like, oh, I have to, do payroll or like that kind of stuff, which gives me anxiety because then it's like if you mess something up, people are going to be mad at you or just think you're stupid. Right. And like, I would rather people not think of me at all than think I'm stupid kind of thing, which is actually kind of disempowering again, as you said before, like, yeah.
Well, I think it's cool actually to be talking about this because what most people don't realize is that a lot of the math you're scared of, like let's say we're talking about payroll or you're talking about counting backwards, is like simple math you could learn in like 2 days. Like I guarantee you, knowing you for the short amount of time that I have, you could learn it, right? So it's not even a question, like you could learn it. So I think that like that's a really important thing because that like really has the potential to change your life.
Right.
You're 29.
I know. Yeah.
Which is a really exciting time. You're about to go into the big 3-0. Okay. I don't know why that's so exciting, but like I feel like this could be life-changing because my philosophy is always, I don't give a shit if you do math. Like I really don't, but I really care if you're going through the planet being like, there's this thing I can't do. And that's kind of the end of it. Like you said, like I feel like you're so self-aware because you're like, I've put myself in this box. This prevents me from doing this, that, and the other thing. But what if you just took yourself out of the box? And like, that doesn't mean you need to go do calculus. It means like, you can maybe start applying for jobs or thinking about positions where like, there's a little bit of math required because like you're for sure capable of it.
Right. It's just like, I feel like because I have ADHD, it's always been like, I can't, like, it's a learning disability, right? So it's like you're going to have a really hard time learning how to do things. And so I've always kind of thought that, or it's like, I'm just going to have a really hard time learning.
The real truth is you're not really at a disadvantage. The way our society is structured now with like shit constantly flashing in your face, like everyone has attention deficit.
Right.
Like no one
It's true.
You know?
These apps do not help at all either. Yeah.
So I think being aware of it and being like, I learn differently, I need different methods to focus, that can actually be a superpower. Like it's more harmful to not know that about yourself at all. Like you're fully as capable as anyone else that like I know of learning math. Like, but that's so interesting. I want you to never think of that as something that's like stopping you. Like look at all the things you're doing.
I know, but it's that box, right? It's like, it's kind of, I need to get out of that.
You need to get out of that box.
Yeah. But I definitely do think I could learn math. Like I know I can. You're right. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me the Aritzia story? Because I like it and I want it somewhere in the podcast.
Oh, right. When I bought, oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. So I recently went shopping a few months ago and I got these two blazers, like Aritzia. And, when they say there's a sale and there's not really a sale, whatever. It's like $5 off. Here you go. Here's the tax, But it added up to like $500 and I got like 3 things.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But then I was too afraid to be like, oh, actually I don't want this. So I just bought it anyway. Oh my God. I know. And then I didn't because I was like, okay, it's down at the Eaton Center. So I wore this Aritzia sweater. Like sometimes I'll just wear it and I'll be like, I don't even like this. Like it doesn't even match me, but it was like one of those things where looking at the numbers, I was like, okay, yeah, that totally makes sense. I think I know how much percent off this is. I think that 30% is 30% of, 83 is,
oh my God, I'm not even asking. I want you to do it. What do you think it is?
30% off of $83.
Like approximately.
I want to say 30%. I want to take $30 off of 80, but I know that that's not it.
Okay, but it's not like that far. No? I mean, that's not the strategy you should use at all.
That's literally how I did it.
But in this case, you're not that far away from it. It would be about 24.
Okay.
Right? 24, 25. Okay. What strategy were you using there?
I feel like it was like $30 off.
So what if it was 30% of 800 though?
30% of 800, yeah.
Would you still take $30 off?
I would take like $300 off.
Oh my God, so this isn't actually that bad. See, this is what I mean though, right? For someone who's like, I have no fucking clue what's going on, you kind of have a clue. Mm-hmm. You just knew that you should add 2 more zeros to that number. Okay. One more zero. Sorry, everyone. One more zero. One more zero. You kind of had an idea of what was happening.
Mm-hmm. But I guess I just didn't add up things. And because what I'll do, even when I go grocery shopping, I'll like add up the amount. And because it's food, I know that certain things don't have tax, which makes my life a little bit easier.
That's easier, yeah.
Yeah, but like going clothing shopping, I'll try and add things up, but then I always get it. I'm always off, and so it's one of those things where I have anxiety. It's like, oh my God, I see this huge number. I'm just going to pay for it and deal with it later.
Right.
And then I just won't deal with it because again, it gives me more anxiety to go and,
So do you feel like this is interfering with your life at all, or you're just like, whatever?
With my math, like my fear of math. I feel like it does.
Like, are you going broke?
Yes, absolutely. No, 100%. When my roommate told me that the landlord was raising the rent, I was like, oh my God, by how much? And it was like only like
2%.
It was like literally nothing. It was like $20. And then it's also me doing a budget. Like I don't have a set budget, which is bad. Like I'll do my budget like from my head, which is not good. That's not a budget.
That's not a thing.
No. So it's one of those things again. Because I'm afraid of seeing all these numbers on a piece of paper. And so, I kind of push things to the side and try and deal with it later. But then just dealing with it later means struggling later.
So often people will say, I was never good at math in high school, or I couldn't do it, or I'm not a math person, but like, who gives a fuck? I never need to use it now.
Right.
What I find really fascinating is you've just laid out so many examples of how you need it now. And what I like the most, because people are often like, well, like, when am I going to use trig? And you're like, hey, dummy, it's not that you're going to use fucking trig. It's that you're literally going to freak out when you see numbers and refuse to engage with them. And that means a lot of what you said. It means you won't even do a budget because you don't want to deal with it. So like you're maybe going broke, debatable. We're not sure what's happening with your finances. We should get Bruce Celery, or one of our previous guests, to come help you.
Okay. I'm up for it.
Or it means like you might not apply for a job where simple math is involved. So, I mean, it does kind of hurt your life to walk through it feeling like you simply can't do math, because it prevents you from engaging with all of these things. Like, especially the job thing, or feeling pressured into buying something for $500. Like, I don't like that exactly. Right. So like, and again, it's actually also funny because every single example you gave me is just percentages. It's one math concept that I think we learned in grade 4. Mm-hmm. So like you could just learn it.
Right.
I feel like
decimal,
Yeah, but so you even know. Yeah. Do you know how to calculate a tip?
You move the decimal over twice or once, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just add like $2 or $3 more on top of that.
Always $2 or $3 more. What if the bill was $1,000?
Oh no, you know what I mean. Like I always use the percentage. So I do 18 or 20. And I use that button.
You tip 18 or 20%.
Yeah, depending on...
Big tipper.
Yeah. Well, because I have also worked in the service industry.
Okay.
And
so 20% would be easy because all you do is move the decimal place once to get 10%. Okay. And then what would you do if it's 20% instead of 10? You would just multiply it by 2.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, multiply.
Well, I feel like you could do this. Let's just do a quick one.
Yes, okay, let's do it.
My most empowering tip is the tip trick.
Okay.
And if I tip 15%. I feel like a fucking loaf right now.
Well, no, I do it like, just because I've worked, I've been a server and all that kind of stuff, you know, like, but if I buy like one beer, I do the $1 rule kind of thing.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But 18's a little much. Like, we're not going to calculate 18%. That's ridiculous.
And again, my finances are awry.
So
right?
should we go down to 15? It's either 15 or 20.
15,
okay,
yeah.
because both of them are easy tricks. But I wanted like something with a 5 or a 0, not like 8. Like, we're not advanced.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say 15%.
Okay,
so you go out. Mm-hmm. You buy something.
Right.
It is going to be $120.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck you just had.
Right.
Okay, so it's $120 and you need to leave a tip of 15%. Mm-hmm. What is your first step?
So my first step, 15%. So there's no debit. We're not doing debit. We're paying cash.
We're paying cash. It's $120. And what I'm going to tell you what to do. It's $120, and I want you to tell me what 10% of that is.
So of $120, I'm going to move the tip or the decimal twice. So I'm going to say $20. So 40. I'm going to tip 40.
Hold on.
No, that sounds very. That sounds a lot.
Hold on. I love you. Okay. Also, we're not using any paper, which is really mean. Like, let me just use paper. Okay. So like, no. This is actually rude of me. Okay. So look, it's $120. Okay.
Okay.
So 10. How many zeros does 10 have in it?
It has one. Yeah.
So you're only moving the decimal place over one.
Okay. One.
Okay. So we're going over to here.
Okay.
Are we done?
No.
Well, I know, but we're done this step.
Right. Okay. Yes.
So how much do we have here?
12. Okay. Yes.
So we have $12.
Yeah.
That's 10%.
Okay.
We want 15%. So we now need another 5%, right? So what should we logically do with this number that is 10?
Times it by 3.
Well, okay, so we have this is the 10%, and we need an additional 5%. What is 5's relationship to 10? It's half
2
of 10.
Okay, right.
So I just want to divide this by 2.
Okay.
So this is my 10%, and that divided by 2 is my 5%.
Okay.
Are you following me?
Yes,
now?
yeah.
So here's my 5%, and there's my 10%. So I have 12
plus 6. Oh, cool. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. That's so much better than what I was doing.
I don't know what you were doing.
I was just adding them. I would just move the decimal over and then add a little bit more change on top of it.
Yeah, I was kind of fascinated. I wanted to be like, show me.
If I was paying cash,
$40. I would 40% of us.
I would literally like move the decimal over and then just add. If it didn't look right, I would just add a few more bucks on top.
So that's not exactly math per se.
It's not.
Yeah, that's like freestyling.
Yeah, it's freestyling.
It's just freestyling.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think. Okay, so this, and I don't even know that I taught this to you the best way, but I like tip because it teaches you two things. Number one, 10%, you did that very easily. You were like 1, 0, move the decimal place. But then it's what do you do with the extra 5%? And you're like, but wait, that's half of 10.
Right.
So shouldn't I just take half of that number and then together I have 15?
So I didn't know the second step.
Yeah,
that's
no,
why,
that's fine. Most people wouldn't know that because you wouldn't think about it. But it's like the idea of like feeling confident with math is having an idea of how numbers fit together. So even to think 15 is really just 10 and then another half of 10 stuck together. So I feel like even if you used this a couple times in your life now and just did it, you would just be able to do it.
Absolutely.
You could impress your friends out, except they might be like, you're a really bad tipper, like 15.
I know.
You'd be like, I can't get to 18.
15 plus, couple
extra dollars.
Yeah, a couple extra
Throw
dollars.
another 40 on that.
You know what? It's happened where I've over-tipped people a lot.
This might save you a lot of money.
I'm going to take this piece of paper and put it in my wallet.
I think because maybe I'll make it nicer for you. I'm going to make you a nice tip note after.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well. All right, so, yeah, I feel like we might have just saved you like $100 this week.
Absolutely.
Okay, but in all honesty, I think it's awesome how honest you're willing to be because the truth is most people I know are like this, right? And most people, like you kind of mentioned that you might want to learn math. Tell me a bit about that. Like, what would you actually be interested in getting better at math? If so, why?
Yeah. I want to get better. Of course, I want to be better at math because if I look at my life right now, I mean, there's a lot of responsibilities that I've avoided because I'm not good at math. And then even also just like time management is like another thing with numbers and learning, it took me a long time how to tell time, like as a kid, learning like, when people say 45 or what's it, half past.
Right,
or not half past, but quarter to,
yeah.
and like all that other stuff would always give me anxiety. So learning how on an analog clock instead of a digital. So like time management, my finances, all these things that have to do with numbers, and it would definitely take a lot of frustration out of my life if I did learn math or relearn math.
Oh,
for sure.
God, I feel like we need like a plan,
especially coming and talking about it today. I have realized it because like earlier I was like, okay, yeah, like what am I gonna talk about? I'm bad at math. Like, I'm an adult now. And I was even thinking about it, like taking a shower, was it yesterday or something? And I was like, yeah, I remember saying in high school, yeah, when are we ever gonna learn math, Mr. P? But so yeah, for sure. I would say if I relearn math, I would for sure be in a different place a year from now.
Okay, well, I feel like we need to teach you math.
Okay.
And also what's so interesting, I really literally think you need to learn 2 math things. Like I literally feel like if you got comfortable with percentages, which you already even are a little bit, and like whipped up your mental math a little, like you would just feel better. Like
Absolutely.
You'd feel, and honestly, like it's about showing yourself, like even with this little thing, that percentage thing, that hardly took you any time. And I'm also teaching you on a podcast without paper. So like imagine what you could do with like an actual tool.
Right.
But it's so funny, that idea of like, when are we ever going to use this? But I always say, because it's like so fucking annoying. Kids are like, when are we going to use this? There's no point. Let me ask you this. When are you going to use Shakespeare? When are you going to use like art?
Shakespeare is like, I mean, I could argue like dating profiles now and wanting to send, maybe wanting to.
What is your profile
impress?
like? What does it say? Whether you're using Shakespeare?
I don't use Shakespeare. I'm just saying, when you want to sound
so
smooth. But you're right. Art and
when are you going to learn any? I was going to say, when are you going to use French? But okay, that actually is like a practical application that you can think of. My point is, math or Shakespeare or all of these things are just ways of like literally building your brain muscle. It's like your brain is a kaleidoscope. They're all different lenses with which to view the world. If you can think mathematically, so if like when you go to buy that thing at Aritzia, you can think artistically by being like, oh wow, this looks cool, blah, 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 blah. You can think like historically perhaps and be like, I don't know, the different like figures who have worn this. Oh my God, that person, I'm really fucking bullshitting right now, but I think it's working. And you can think mathematically to be like, is this really worth it in context of what I need in the rest of my life? Those are all different ways to evaluate the same problem, which is, should I buy this fucking $300 blazer?
Right.
So like...
one thing I was going to say that you did touch on briefly was like the anxiety. And I feel like if teachers were to say, maybe you won't, like if kids were to say, oh, when are we ever going to use it? It's like, you know what, maybe you think you won't use it now, but it's more so about you not having anxiety as an adult when it comes to... If my math teachers were to say something like that, to me in high school, I might have like viewed it differently, or at least had it in the back of my mind as something I would possibly use later, instead of kind of just brushing it off and being like, you're gonna be sorry when you don't know how to do this stuff, or you know, kind of don't question it and just like shut up and do the work. Because nobody kind of told me, oh, you're gonna have anxiety if you don't know how to do this stuff, you know? If you know, yeah, if that makes any sense.
I love it, and it actually is going to lead right into the question I was going to ask you, which I'm going to ask you anyway, but that's cool, because no one's ever said that. Like, yeah, like no one has really expressed the fact that like if perhaps it was framed that way, you would be thinking differently, because we normally don't think of math as something emotional. You think of it as something logical, like you're going to be sorry because you're not going to be able to get this job, or you're not going to be able to, but not like you're going to be sorry because you're literally going to lose a piece of confidence that you won't be able to get back, or that like you'll be stressed out or have anxiety. I think that's really important. So we have to kind of like wrap up, but this has been so awesome. And like, yeah, I feel like you should like come for a tutoring session.
Absolutely. I'm definitely up for it.
I think it would be cool just to like learn literally one thing.
Yeah.
You probably don't know much about the educational system now just because you're not in it. But I'll tell you, one of the biggest changes is they've stopped basically teaching the times tables to kids.
Oh, really?
So this has happened over the past decade. They've kind of stopped. Like there's all these different methods for teaching multiplication that involve like, oh, let's like move around piles of stuff and see how many different, like whatever. It's, you know, we call it discovery learning. So we have an entire generation of kids, millions of kids, who actually don't know multiplication off the top of their head, as you would say. I'm just trying to prove your point, or my point, that there's no such thing as a person who can do it. We never taught it to them, right? They've learned something completely different. So you have millions of kids who can't do it. It doesn't mean they're not math people. They were just taught in a different way. Whereas the millions of kids before this decade could all do their times tables, right? So it's like, it's not like all of a sudden we've stopped like popping out math people, right? That we're teaching generations in a different way and not the way that they learn or whatever it is. I really do want to get away from that idea that like you're simply not the type of person. It's very possible like you didn't get the right support. Like maybe you were working hard but not smart for you, you know, or whatever it was.
Yeah, I feel like I can learn math now. Like especially when you frame it like anybody can learn anything. You just have to, you know, take the time and the effort. The effort is a huge part of the equation in learning something new.
Hey, a math pun. Oh my God, she's a new person. Okay, let me ask you the last two questions I ask everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, what would you change if you could pick one thing? What would you change about the way math is taught in schools?
I would say maybe having more of a physical way or a tactile way of learning it. Like not necessarily moving stuff around, but maybe teachers being more hands-on with the way kids learn, or being more enthusiastic. Like, I remember learning the times tables. The way I had to learn was literally my mom like forced me, like we'd be sitting at dinner and, you know, a lot of the food I wasn't really into because I was a picky, like, you know, growing up West Indian, I didn't want to eat like ackee and you know, all that kind of stuff. But it was like, okay, if you're going to sit here for hours and not finish your food, you're also you have to memorize this, and then you don't have to finish that. So it was like one of those things where if I memorized, you know, the 9 times tables, then I didn't have to finish the rest of what was on my plate. I don't know if they can do that in schools, but like, it was.
It's 2020. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah,
I don't think we can do anything.
But again, I feel like it's more of an attitude. I feel like if we had teachers that were more enthusiastic and just encouraging, then it would change the mindset of things. Because, you know, I haven't been in school in a long time, but even when I was in school, teachers weren't as enthusiastic, you know, and I had to pay to go to school. It wasn't even like I went to public school. It was like, so it was like your parents are paying for you to be there, and you still don't get that like quality time and stuff like that. So
attitude, I think that's a big one.
Attitude, yeah.
Okay, and now this is going to be a big question for you because I feel like we've been through a lot. I'm going to rephrase it to what are you going to say next time someone says to you that they're not a math person? You can be honest. You don't have to say what you think I want to hear. What do you think you're going to say?
I would say, you know, I thought the same thing about myself, but it turns out if you actually went and tried to relearn math and you actually put in the amount of effort you do in, you know, anything that you love, you could become a math person. Or actually, you are a math person, you just don't know it yet. That's what I would say.
I didn't even pay her to say this, guys.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll honestly say that?
No, yeah, for sure. Because I totally, like, you're right. Like, when you say the effort and when you phrase it like that, it's true.
Tamika, this has been amazing.
Thank you so much.
It's been really amazing.
I feel so much lighter right now. I know how to do percentages, so I won't be over tipping.
Okay, I'm going to make you a nicer note.
Yes,
the
please.
over tipping. You should put, you know what you should do almost? This could be such a fun game, is whenever you're about to give a tip, do whatever you would do normally.
Right.
And like write that amount down. Then do the actual calculation, and whatever you save, put in like a jar. And at the end of the month, see how much money you've saved.
That's actually a good idea. That's a good idea.
Right? And by the end, you'll probably estimate it actually closer. But that could be interesting to know.
Yeah.
Imagine if you save like hundreds of dollars. You can go to Aritzia and buy an ugly $300 blazer.
I'm never buying anything from there again. Like, I mean, that's not like I bought like a winter jacket or something that's like functional, but like never again am I spending that much money on sweaters.
A sweater, it's ridiculous.
No.
What is it, made out of gold?
It's
bullshit.
not.
Oh,
it's
God.
not. It's a blend.
No. What?
It's not even.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Me too. Guys, are you crying or what? Honestly, oh my God, I wish I was like Ellen or whatever and could be like, okay, Tamica, guess what? We're going to move you to a tropical island for a year to learn all the math you never thought you could understand. And like, also here's $1 million. And also Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting is going to be your teacher. Or like, I don't know, whatever Ellen would do in this situation. But like, you know what I mean? Or maybe I'm thinking of Oprah. But like, whatever. The point is, it's so amazing what just like a little math therapy can do. And I really hope that Tamica's still got that little sticky note in her wallet and is just out there calculating the perfect tip and impressing all her friends. That is a wrap on the first episode of season 2. We've got 9 more juicy episodes to go, and each of them are totally different and like super mind-blowing in their own way. You can find links to everything we talked about in this episode on our show notes at themathguru.ca/matththerapy. Follow us on all social media at The Math Guru for more math therapy and just more of me. Math Therapy is hosted by me, Vanessa Viccaria, aka The Math Guru, produced by Sabina Wex, and edited by David Kochberg. Our theme song is Waves by my band Goodnight Sunrise. And guys, if you know someone who needs math therapy or just needs to hear someone else getting math therapy, please share this podcast and write a quick review on whatever podcast app you use. Those 2 things make a huge, huge difference. I am so determined to change the culture surrounding math, and I need your help. So spread the word. That's all for this week. Stay tuned for our next episode out next Thursday.